The mating season episode of Shadowlands takes place right after the Second World War. So I was looking for music that really evoked that era. So we have some kind of teen angel type of stuff, some early rockabilly. But when I came across this song called My Buddy, I was really excited. My Buddy was originally written in 1922, and it's been covered by many, many famous artists, from Frank Sinatra, his daughter Nancy Sinatra, Doris Day, Chet Baker, Bobby Darin, etc. And it's a very unique song because it's a love song, and yet the term of endearment is my buddy, which is kind of a unique term to use from a man to a woman or a woman to a man. So to me, there was an immediate gay undertone to it.
It's actually pretty special. This song is quite special due to the history that it has. I mean, I think it kind of had a resurgence in the 50s, but actually was written quite some time before that. And now to be bringing it back today is kind of interesting, and that's why we wanted to take this song and, yes, kind of pay homage to the time period when it was first written and you know, when it was relevant, but bring it back, still paying homage to that, but with a bit of a twist and our own maybe current take on it.
When we arrived in the studio, I knew we were going to do the piano and the bass together at the same time because they play well together, and we thought it would save time. And it's especially if there's no metronome or a drum, it's just nicer to have that kind of feel as a rhythm section, to have piano and bass together. But to have the vocals at the same time today and together was a really nice surprise. I thought it might be more complicated to organize, but actually Fred said it was actually really simple. So, but I'm glad to have done it because I kind of think it's going to be hard to go back now and record in other ways because it's so real. I miss that aspect, actually. That's what I love about old recordings. There's life to them, you know.
Michael Daniel Murphy is the music director for the song, and so he's really pulled together this team of artists and musicians and the engineer to create the song today. To me, it's so exciting to come into the studio and record music live. You know, generally for music in film and television, we often license tracks from musicians because that's just a more inexpensive way to do it. But there's something that's very magical about bringing artists together and creating something live.
I listened to a lot of versions, first of all, and you know, the approach to arranging the song is Charlie also sent us an idea of what the scene was about, so that was really important to me. And yeah, I just thought simplicity, just in terms of even our scheduling, our time. So we're like, okay, let's simplify. I play the piano, so let's do piano. We'll figure out the arrangement with the voices. But I also, the first time I actually heard this song was Chet Baker playing the trumpet. And I just felt like I wanted that kind of like, you know, especially with the possible war themes, or, you know, the whole theme in writing letters, or this whole duet aspect. I thought it'd be nice to bring a trumpet into it, because I think it really creates kind of a classic vintage feel, but also that era, and it's a beautiful instrument. So we actually used the flugelhorn, piano, and an upright bass to just kind of, without having a full percussion ensemble or a little drum kit, we'd have a bass to kind of give it some life there, because I think there's a slow dance that happens at this moment, so yeah.
In terms of the lyrics of the song, they are unique in that this was written in 1922, and we have lines like, the touch of your hand, the sound of your voice, I'm missing you, my buddy. To me, hearing those words today, it's hard to imagine them as not being some type of relationship, certainly a very special friendship.
Well, strangely enough for me, when I had never heard this song. So when I first heard it, when Charlie gave me this song to listen to, I thought it was quite clear. I mean, possibly because today, listening to these lyrics of a man saying, my buddy, you know, it came off a bit strange. I remember even getting on the phone with him and being like, was this clear to everyone else? It really does sound, you know, again, taking it in our modern day, that it's words of affection towards someone else. Now, you know, there are a lot of artists that have covered it. Doris Day has covered it, and coming from a woman, it was just a different feel. So it is interesting. I don't quite know the answer to that, whether, you know, some people sang it. I mean, you know, millions and millions of people have heard this song in whatever way they interpret it. I'm curious, actually, what their interpretation was back then as it is now, because I've played the song to quite a few people and they're like, well, it sounds pretty clear to me what it means now. But again, back then, where, you know, possibly being gay and stuff like that was very taboo and not something you would hear on radio and media and stuff like that. So whether this was kind of there was an undercurrent of that, or whether it just went right over people's heads and it wasn't even the message, I'm not quite sure. But the relevance of today, I think, for me, when it first hit me, it really sounded quite clear, especially when a man sang it. So, yeah.
My Buddy was originally written in 1922, which is almost 100 years ago. So I think it's pretty cool what we're doing today, to be in Montreal in a recording studio, a bunch of artists coming together to bring this story back to life one more time. I mean, it's been recorded over and over because it is a classic. There's something special about this song that rings true for people, that touches people. And so I can only imagine what the original writers would think if they knew that, you know, a century later in Montreal, a bunch of Canadians have gotten together to record this song for a TV show. I think it's pretty exciting.